The rejected will be respected. And it's been a fun week. So I got to read y'all's comments again. Yes, this is going to be another week of 2 comment reading videos. This time I'm reading some of my comments from my bigger videos this week. We talked about Dabol this week. We talked about DILLON GABRIEL this week. And of course, we talked about Shedeur Sanders this week. So we're going to start from our Dabol video. If you don't remember, just to catch you up to speed, Dabol was a part of the head coaching or front office regime that leaked things that said that, hey, Shedeur didn't have a great interview. He set him up, yada, yada, yada. Well, then Dabol got the quarterback he wanted, ran him into the ground with like 15 concussions in 2 games, and now he got exposed for actually acting like a little girl on the sideline, and that's why they forced him out of the Giants organization. Hey, it sucks, but hey, if you're going to leak stuff, things going to get leaked. So let's hear what y'all had to say about that. Asante L says, well, the main guy who lied on Shedeur got fired. Now, I do want to clarify a few things. There is, when those leaks came out and we went and reread them, right, there were some AFC people who said, now the things that the AFC people said was Shedeur just acted like he didn't really care what we thought about him. And I respond to that, who cares? Like, it always boils down to Shedeur Sanders wasn't cock munching us enough. So if that's your biggest argument, I don't care. Like, I got to be honest with you. And with Dabol, he set up an install. He purposely put a mistake in the install, and then he confronted Shedeur. And since we read the Dabol files, he probably started yelling, right? He probably started getting irate and getting a little too emotional with Shedeur. And, Dabol probably didn't like that. So, hey, sucks to suck. Discard says, seems like everyone who played with Shedeur is reaping what they sowed. Kevin is next. We'll see. Boulder 7104 says, wasn't this firing predicted after they spoke ill of Shedeur to sabotage draft rankings? Karma's timing is it's perfect timing when Karma's around. You feel me? I truly believe Kevin Stefanski was guaranteed his job. He's not even frustrated after loss if you watch his pressers. Yeah, to be honest with you, and we're happy Dabol got fired because he's just bad at coaching. But Kevin Stefanski is leaps and bounds worse at coaching than Dabol. I've got to be honest with you. It's horrendous. They all fall down. The rejected will be respected. I ain't saying, I'm not even reading your comment, Miss Andre. I'm just speaking that into existence. I gotta be honest with you. This is the same team who let Saquon Barkley walk and go win a Super Bowl. Guys, I want y'all to know, if Shedeur was, and I know, look, I'm not someone who will lie. I know Shedeur is boosting my numbers, and I'm fine with that because I rock with Shedeur. So, hey, you know what I mean? But I want you to know, if I wasn't talking about Shedeur and I was talking about some other NFL team, yapping, talking to the void, right, with my big forehead and my Texans hat, one of my biggest tenets when I talk about the NFL is, guys, some people, and this is just in life, people don't realize how bad some people are at their jobs. I tell that to my fiance. I tell that to in normal life, I just be like, sometimes we talk about these crazy things. Why is this way? Why is that way? And sometimes I'm just like, sometimes we have to take a deep breath and realize these people are bad at their job. There's a lot of nepotism, Brian Callahan, right? There's a lot of by circumstance jobs and a lot of different situations that allow people to be in certain circumstances that they probably aren't qualified to be in. So I say all that to say that a lot of these NFL teams, the reason why they've been consistently ass is because they don't know what they're doing. They're not good at their job. I hate when people come in here and talk about, well, the NFL, they might know a little something about evaluating talent. Yeah, like the top 10 teams do. That's it. Like, all the other ones are trying their hardest to find a needle in the haystack, and they fail every time. Busy Enough said, everybody who passed on Shedeur or played with Shedeur is paying the price, while Shedeur sitting back laughing with front row seats to the Browns losing every game. Nate Edward says, man, they felt like Shedeur didn't care what they thought of him. I taught my kids and grandkids not to worry about what others think of them and focus on being the best version of themselves because that's a distraction. They sounded like some girls trying to get a date. And look, I'm a realist, and I understand that whenever you interview for an NFL position, you should, treat it like a job, treat it like this, treat it like that. Here's my issue, though. My only issue really, it focuses on the fact that it's okay for the NFL to be wrong, right? Like, I agree. If you tell me that the interviews went bad, I will say, okay. Then I will tell you, I'm not mad at Shedeur. I'm mad that the interviewers have that standard. That in 2025, the standard is if you don't come in here and capitulate to me, if you don't come in here and grovel to me, if you don't come into this room and treat me like I'm an NFL head coach and I deserve respect, dog, let's are we gonna come do this job or not? Do you want me to come do the job or not? Because clearly, Brian Dabol, you needed someone to save your job, and you chose wrong. Damn, that sucks. Too focused on wanting people to be obedient to you instead of focusing on actually getting and winning football games. Damn, that sucks. LMAO, him and Kevin need to be unemployed lined together. That I do agree. Injuries happen, but he pushed Dart and Scatterboo to go harder. Now, the Scatterboo thing, I can't put the Scatterboo thing on him. His ankle went the wrong way. I can't do that. The Jackson Dart is 100% on Brian Dabol. If you've been watching football long enough, there's no way you send a rookie quarterback out there who didn't start. He didn't come out the season start. It would be different if he was starting and was thrown to the Wolves. That's not what this was. He had weeks to, hey, let's practice protecting ourselves. Hey, let's slide. John Gruden sat his ass down and said, hey, you're not the size of Josh Allen. Slide, little, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't happening. So I think those are the comments we're going to read from here. Let's go to the DILLON Gabriel video and see what y'all had over here. So, purpose. Oh, wow. I can't read that, but I'm reading your comment. And it says, trying to humble Shedeur is backfiring. This is the DILLON Gabriel video, and we brought up stats and facts about how DILLON Gabriel is historically bad. And again, you know, a lot of people might argue, well, if he's bad, why can't Shedeur get starting? Well, Kevin Stefanski literally just came out and said that Shedeur is just not even giving opportunities with the first team. And in fact, said Shedeur is actually working extra after practice and making sure he puts in extra work in the red zone with the young guys. But he's not giving him the reps. So I want y'all to know he's giving DILLON Gabriel all these reps because he needs them. Clearly he needs them. They told y'all before he even stepped foot in Berea that he was ready to go. So either Kevin Stefanski's a failure or Kevin Stefanski's a failure. Like one or the other. Either you can't develop the dude that you handpicked, right? Or you pick bad. Either way, he needs to go. Continuing. We don't need no goddamn supercomputer. We need a quarterback. Hey, I tell you, I don't know how many of y'all, there are some Browns fans. Like, I want y'all to know, for all of my anti-Shedeur Browns fans, there are Browns fans who are tired of it. That are on the side of Shedeur. At this point, they're just like, please, just let me see something. Something else. John Brown said, DG threw a 10-yard over the middle curl route into the ground. 5 yards short. I've never seen that ever from a starting quarterback. This is the epitome of a lost locker room and the players' lack of belief in the coach. You know, it's so crazy because Mr. Y or Mrs. Y Hinton 3560 can point out the fact that visually this is a locker room that don't want to play. But if you ask our guy Sports Boy Tony, if you ask our guy Anthony Lima, he thinks he hasn't gotten nothing has been leaked out about that, right? Come on, dog. Losing to the Jets is rock bottom. It is. We just watched Jets on Thursday night try to win the ball game without throwing a forward pass, and it was painful. This is the second time they told Shedeur to warm up, and they didn't put him in the game. This is true. Again, if you watch the my watch-alongs every Sunday, you know what I'm saying, except the 23rd, I will not be doing y'all, and that's messed up. I think the 23rd, you know what? I'm going to make a prediction right now. I guarantee y'all, because I got to handle some business on the 23rd, some very, very important business. So I won't be there. Of course, I'll react to it afterwards, but I won't be able to do the watch-along then. I have a prediction that Shedeur is going to get his start on the first game. I can't do a live watch-along to watch. Watch what's going to happen. But just know, on our watch-alongs, we usually get the tweets that says, hey, Shedeur is warming up. Someone from the stadium usually tweets it out. So, you know, it's interesting that's happened that. Now, I will point out the last 2 years, it's happened more consistent, or 2 weeks, it happened more consistently. Maybe this means we're almost there. I don't know, but we shall see. Man, DG threw that 22-yard pass for a touchdown with all his might. This is terrible. I was at the Jets game. Dillon looks about 5'6". That's another thing. I'm all for, athletes lie about. If you've ever played sports, you're supposed to lie about your height. Like that's one of the things you learn when you start getting into recruiting. Obviously, I had aspirations of being, a big dog D1 player. My ACL and my height had other things to say. But, you start learning that you got to give yourself an inch or two. You know what I mean? Some people give themselves 3 inches. Pause. Wow. But Dillon Gabriel is not 5'11". We don't have to lie to each other, right? Drew Brees was like 5'10" or something like that. Bryce Young's like 5'9". Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't gotta lie. We don't gotta lie. After playing for 6 years in college, he better have the most touchdowns. Hey, man. Dillon Gabriel does have the FBS records for most touchdowns. He also, I think, is up there, or at least top 3, and I think starts. If not, I think he has the most college football starts. Somebody fact check me, but he does have a historical college football career. He won't get fired because they are all in cahoots against Shedeur. Interesting. I'm only here for the great Shedeur Sanders. Stefanski was looking beyond crazy that entire game. All right. Good DG comments. Now, this is about Browns media getting caught lying. Again, our guy, Anthony Lima, I completely exposed him. He made up this lie that, why haven't we heard anything from the locker room? Why haven't people just come out and say that Shedeur is just so great? Well, that's a lie. Garrett Bush pointed that out. Now, people want to say that Garrett Bush is lying, but then Garrett Bush lying was debunked by someone in the Cleveland media on 92.3 The Fan. Anthony, that's on your radio station. Somebody debunked it. Man, that's crazy, Anthony. Why aren't you in here in my comment section debunking your lies? You got another lie for us? Let us know, big dog. Let us know. But let's read some of these comments. G. Bush is fast becoming too powerful to muzzle. His personal YouTube channel will be at 60K by the end of the year, up from like 13K since in a training camp. The ultimate Cleveland sports show gets their biggest views when he is on, so they actually can't just fire him and let him walk. Can I just shout out to, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to, I'm not going to make this video about this because I've been tweeting too much about it. But they've been talking about my man G. Bush crazy, right? And I want y'all to know, I would be defending G. Bush, and I did appear on the show. Y'all go watch my clip. Shout out my man G. Bush. But Garrett Bush, and I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm gonna be really 100% with y'all. I know the sphere of content. I study this, right? Some of y'all don't know what my actual job is. My actual job actually has to do with marketing and content creation, right? So my job is to study YouTube. Some of y'all don't know that. But that's my job. So when I study my counterparts, I look and I know, first of all, I know what channels y'all are watching. Yep, I know the demographics. I know what y'all are watching. I know exactly what's going on. I know when certain channels are lying. I know when y'all get y'all's views off. And typically I don't touch those topics. I let y'all get y'all's views and I keep going because I love videos like this. I love videos where I can lay everything out, and I'm trust me, I'm gonna land this plane. It's a big boy. It's a C-130, right? It's a big one. I am proud that I get to make Shedeur content, which obviously it's boosted. It gets the views XYZ, but I could just lie. I could just come out here and say, well, Shedeur, this trading rumor, this and that, but I don't. I give y'all receipts. If I do talk about, something that's alleged, I show you why I think it's alleged. I give you a pushback for it, right? And I want y'all to know that that's where credibility comes from. And in these, there's a lot of hustlers making Shedeur content that just want the views. This was a college football channel, right? Now, I happen to have a large contingent of Shedeur fans, so I start making more of that. I make NFL content. But most of y'all are here to just make fun of me when Texas loses. Like that's the other thing y'all are here for. I know that. I know y'all, right? And I say all that to say that Garrett Bush has been in the game for a long time. He was making Browns content before it was cool to make Browns content, before I even thought about making Browns content. So there's levels to this, and I want y'all to know, if you for a second think about subscribing to me or listening to me, you better subscribe to G. Bush first. I don't think any other Shedeur based content that I would tell you to go to besides that, because there's so many of these guys out here, and I'm not gonna call them by name because there's other people who do great stuff. First off, shout out to all the Colorado, because again, I used to make Colorado content too. I make some college football content. So shout out to all the people who make Colorado content. They usually do their thug dizzle. But there's a lot of AI channels. There's a lot of liars out here. And G. Bush is not one of them. So when I see on Twitter that y'all are playing with G. Bush's top, of all people, I'm gonna call some channels out. I'm not saying anything crazy about y'all, but I'm saying that G. Bush is like stamped. He's Emmy nominated. Like you know what I mean? Like it's a little different to come at him and think that he doesn't have sources when he's been doing this for like over a decade, I think. But if they, I'm not even gonna call nobody's names. If they came and they slandered FB Tings, I'll be like, okay, that big-headed Texans fan, he don't know nothing. He don't got no sources. And I will be cool with that because, that's fair. What have I shown you? I don't have the history to show you. I've been covering the Browns for 10 years. I've only been covering the Browns for like 8-9 months. Now, what I make up for in time, credibility and bringing receipts, I appreciate y'all for appreciating that. But y'all tried to play with Garrett Bush? It's so funny to me. It's like y'all don't even... So many people who have and harbor hate and try to make people who speak highly of Shedeur try to discredit them. So man, y'all playing with the wrong ones. Why not talk about them AI accounts? Why not talk about FB Tings? Why not come for me? Y'all gonna come for the most stamped person and say he don't got no sources? That don't even add up. Talking about, well, if Mary Kay Cabot didn't say it. Come on, dog. Stockholm Syndrome, dog. Now y'all believe what Mary Kay has to say? That's convenient. Now y'all believe what Tony Grossi has to say? That's convenient. But yeah, there's no consistency when it comes to some of these Browns people. I genuinely think they have Stockholm Syndrome. They don't want to believe that there are a new contingent of people who is tired of what the Browns are going through. And Browns fans have to live with it, right? Now, as a Texans fan, I have to live with my But... there's nothing worse than being a Browns fan. So I pity y'all. I really do. I'm gonna pray for y'all. I'm gonna pray for y'all little niggas. You know what I mean? Like, because y'all struggling. Y'all would rather think that Shedeur Sanders is awful and pretend that Kevin Stefanski is a good quarterback evaluator. And now they're like, bring Ty Simpson in, bring Fernando Mendoza in. For what? For what offense, guys? I'm genuinely asking Browns fans. For what? You want Ty Simpson to sit on the bench for a year? Or him get thrown out there, everybody say that he's great, and then he gets mauled by Baltimore. Because remember, Dillon Gabriel was their choice. They could have had Jackson Dart. They could have had Cam. Well, they couldn't have had Cam Ward. But they did not need to pick Shedeur. They didn't need to pick Dillon Gabriel. And you want me to think that after handpicking and reaching for a player, that, oh, don't worry, this draft's going to be different. Stockholm Syndrome, dog. Go get a mental evaluation, please, if you're a Browns fan. I will no longer give 92.3 The Fan views. Thank you for stating the facts and keeping it informed. They've been telling lies for 400 years. It flows like water. I can't wait for the flashbacks of everything he said negative about Shedeur to be thrown back in his face. These receipts are ridiculous. Lima is a weirdo stalker. Cleveland Browns beat reporter Jason listening to G. Bush wanting to explode in his disagreement. Players are not talking to Jason because they know he is Stefanski's mouthpiece. This is what I'm talking about. You and me both know that Mary Kay Cabot, Tony Grossi, some of these people, they have direct links to the Cleveland Browns. And I'm going to give that to you all day. But some of these people are propagandists, right? Some of these people are spewing with the Browns and telling the messaging that the Browns want them to give out there. Y'all not slick. Y'all think we idiots. Y'all think this is the first NFL team I've been monitoring? No, the Browns are just the most insane. And shout out to Bird Shoe. She said, this may be your best episode yet. I wish it would go viral. I'm going to share it for sure. And this is where I'm going to end this video. Because this video, the Brian Dabol video, and the Dillon Gabriel, these are probably some of my most proud videos. Now, they're not the most viewed. They each have 20,000, 24,000, and that's not a small amount of views by any stretch of the imagination. But I want to show y'all. I'm gonna go by popular. It is by no means one of my most popular videos. And by the way, for the people who say I only make Shedeur content, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I got some Shiloh in there. I got some NIL content in there. I got some wait. This is another one. I got some Lejante in there. I got some what's it called? What's his name? Isaiah Augustive. I got some Jimmy Horn. Like before y'all call me. First off, I am a Shedeur Glazer. Sorry about it. But there's more than meets the eye. This is another one of my favorite videos of all time. My man, Josh Huff or Coach Huff. But I say that to say the reason why I was so proud about those videos is it's not about and don't worry, this is all a lie. Trust me, it's all a lie. The reason why I say that I'm so passionate and I think those are some of my favorite videos that I've put together is because those are videos in which like there's a lot of, like I said, receipts. There's a lot of facts and a lot of just blatant lies, and I was able to, you know, it felt like a long time coming. It felt like I can see what y'all are doing, but I can't prove it. Hey, when the leaks came out about Shedeur, I told y'all I don't believe it. I said, hey, I could believe that maybe he had a bad interview, but the way that y'all are describing it, oh, he's so entitled. Oh my God, he's so that. No, I know Shedeur to be the exact opposite because of who his dad is. And that's not me being biased. I would tell y'all if I thought Shedeur would do that. But I've watched the way he interacts with people. I've watched the interviews. I remember the first time he talked to Cleveland Browns media, and they were surprised that he was a decent human being. They whispered under his breath, "How can you not like that guy?" Do y'all remember that clip? Pepperidge Farm remembers, right? I remember that clip. And I say all that to say, for a good bit, or 2 or 3 months of this channel, as we were making more Shedeur content, there were so many comments about, man, you're just, you know, whatever, doing this for Shedeur. You're just, you know, you're delusional. You're this and you're that. And it's like, I promise you, this is not the channel for delusion. This is a channel that speaks out about the NIL. This is a channel that highlights phenomenal head coach, phenomenal leaders of men, right? This is what this channel has been about. And I'm sorry that Dion has shown to be that. I'm sorry that I believe Shedeur has shown to be that. I'm going to be fair. And it feels real good to know what I saw in those interviews, what I saw on the field. Shedeur is one of the most and this, I'm going to end it right here. Shedeur is this is the early argument I had. He's one of the most well-documented athletes in the modern era. Maybe LeBron, maybe. He's been on television since he was in middle school. And y'all want me to think that he's the same one that is just all of a sudden becomes entitled and he starts showing his wrist in interviews? Like, I never bought it. That's why there's so many views about Shedeur right now. Because there's a whole contingent that doesn't buy it either. They don't believe the lies y'all are trying to tell about Shedeur. Now the truth's coming out. But comment down below what you think. Again, on these comment reading videos, I read all the comments. I appreciate y'all, man. Keep rocking and rolling. Y'all be great. Y'all be phenomenal. Like this video if you like it. Dislike if you don't. Subscribe if you like football content, man. We'll see you next time.